Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is John Paval with the Access Arts Live, a weekly roundup of Chamber live stream action for the week of October 13th to October 20th. We have so much live stream chamber music action going on this week. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get through all of it. We've got very sophisticated early music from both Midtown concerts and the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society. We've got explorations of poetry and sorrow from March Vivo in Madrid. We've got top quality recitals from Wigmore Hall and St. Marys Perivale in London. And we've even got Carnatic Indian music to celebrate the Festival of Lights from the Millennium Stage of the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Almost all of this is free of charge, although there are a few live streams we'll tell you about, which may cost you a little bit, but much less than they'd cost you at the door. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live to help us build the algorithm and spread the good word to more people. We're on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. So, having said that, which is a mouthful, let's get right to this week's live streams. Now, if you're joining us now, it's 7 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday evening, October 14th. So you've already missed the St. Marys Perivale live stream, a very interesting live stream that was done this afternoon. It was the Norwegian American artist Oda Voltersvik. And she was playing music to celebrate the release of her latest album, Nordic Unrest, which is dances and folk tunes by Grieg, which you may well know or have heard, and others you probably have never heard by Icelandic composer Atli Heimer Sveinsson. But that was this afternoon, so we move on and to tomorrow's next live stream that we have up for you, which comes to you from March Vivo. And March Vivo is back up in operation and doing 3 live streams per week. And here's the first of them. Top cellist Claudio Bohórquez and Hungarian pianist Péter Nagy team up in Madrid Wednesday, October 15th to play all sorts of works by Robert Schumann, including the many pieces in the Dichterliebe, that is love songs, in a March Vivo live stream. That's 6:30 in the evening on Wednesday, October 15th, here in Europe, 12:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast, 2:30 late night in the morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can tune in a half an hour earlier if you like, because they have a half an hour of discussion, but it's all in Spanish, so I don't know if you can follow that. The pieces by Schumann are his Fantasy Stücke, Opus 73, 3 Romances, Opus 94, 5 pieces in a popular style, Opus 102, and then the Märchenbilder, Opus 113, and then this long series of Dichterliebe, Opus 48, with the titles like Ich will meine Seele tauchen, Ich hab im Traum geweinet, Die alten bösen Lieder, etc. Bohórquez is Peruvian and Uruguayan in his ancestry. He is one of the highlights of his playing career. Is recently did a tour with the U.S. National Symphony Orchestra under the baton of Christoph Eschenbach. He really made his breakthrough about 25 years ago when he was a prize winner at the Pablo Casals International Competition, which is a big deal. Afterwards they let him play Pablo Casals's cello. And he teaches at the Hans Eisler Musikhochschule in Berlin. since 2003. So for a generation, he's been doing that. And Nagy is a Hungarian pianist. He made his breakthrough back in 1979. He's been a piano teacher at the Hochschule in Stuttgart since. And he also teaches in the instruments department of keyboard at the Doctoral School of Liszt Academy. He's done a lot of recording for various labels too. So these are top guys, top experts playing beautiful Schumann Dichterlied, Dichterliebe, which means love songs. Dichter is poems, and Liebe is love. So now let's then move on to when's the next one, and the next live stream will be on Thursday after that, and it's from St. Marys Perivale, which always gives us a good show. The sweet music of violin sonatas by French composers Mel Bonis and Félix Fauré will resound October 16th in the St. Marys Perivale live stream of violinist Joel Munday and pianist Julian Trevelyan. That's at their usual 3 o'clock European time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 in the morning on the West Coast, 11 o'clock in the evening down under in Australia. Lovely time for a concert like this. These are two violin sonatas. Mel Bonis's violin sonata in F sharp minor, opus 112, and then Fauré's violin sonata number 1 in A, opus 13. And they're both of these musicians are interested in the work by women's composer. Mel Bonis was she was one in a line generation by generation of women pianists and composers who came up, and she got into the, I think it was César Franck got her into the Paris Conservatory in the 1880s, but it was a difficult story. She was a pianist as well as a composer, but her parents married her off to a wealthy industrialist who hated music and who already had something like 5 children or something. And she had even more children with him. So touring as a pianist was out of the question, but she did continue composing, did a lot of composing. She went by the name Mel rather than Melanie, which was her name, because getting published as a woman composer was extremely difficult. So, and most of her compositions were done, say, 1900 to 1930. The violinist Joel Munday, he just got his artist diploma from the Royal College of Music recently. Julian Trevelyan, he's a little older. He moved to France a decade ago after he won a French piano competition, and then he studied at the École Normale de Musique, the Alfred Cortot School, and he's now an assistant to one of the professors there, and he's also a composer in residence at a group called Ensemble Dynamique. So a couple of young guys, up and coming, playing very sweet music. We move along then to the first of this week's early music live streams. There are going to be a number of them. So much going on this week. I hope I could get all of this done in a reasonable period of time. Thursday, October 16th, top early music specialist Tina Chansey on vielle, Rebeccan Kamenge, and Mark Rimple on medieval flute, also known as Hesperus, play medieval to Renaissance pieces in this week's live stream from Midtown Concerts in New York City. That's at their usual time, 1:15 p.m. on the East Coast and corresponding times elsewhere. They're also accompanied by Sean Keener who's a projection designer, and Oliver Weston, who's a projectionist. So there will be an audio, there'll be a visual component to this. They've been Hesperus is an early is an early music improv collective. So you can expect them to be doing improv with this. They've been around since 1979. They've toured Europe and the Far East. They performed at Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, Kennedy Center, et cetera, recorded over a dozen CDs and DVDs. So they've been around. Tina Jancy has been called practically a legend in the early music world. She plays medieval fiddles and viols, everything from Sephardic and Irish music to Joni Mitchell. And Mark Rimple, he's played with a lot of different quartets. There's a long list, including the Folger Consort. And he's also a composer and a professor in the Department of Music Theory, History, and Composition at Westchester University of Pennsylvania. And he's president of the Lute Society of America. So I think he knows how to play the lute. They're doing a long list of pieces from a collection, a manuscript called Les Très Riches Heures, or inspired by these illuminations in a book called Les Très Riches Heures, the very rich hours of the Duc de Berry in France. And they have one for each month. So in January, it's Baci Beni Veni is Carmina Burana from 1120. They'll also, they do in April, it's Belfiore Danza, Codex Faenza, etc. You can get all these details on the YouTube page if you go to the link, or to the Midtown concerts. Very, very sophisticated lute and old viola early music concert. Once again, Midtown Concert scores again. Okay, then we move on to Friday, and Wigmore Hall has a live stream going on this Friday. So they're back up live streaming on a regular basis. We'll be telling you about them each week. And this live stream is, I want to emphasize who the singer is. I love it that I was actually able to find a photo of her singing, because all too often these performers, their publicity photos show, well, see how I look in a green cashmere sweater? Well, yeah, that's great, but we want to see how you look when you're performing, you know? It's like, anyway. The young and very promising Austrian mezzo-soprano Anja Mittermüller is Wigmore Hall's much-loved invitee Friday, October 17th, singing Schubert, Grieg, Ravel, Rachmaninoff, Hugo Wolf, and more with pianist Richard Fu. So she's singing everything. It's let not young souls be smothered out before they do quaint deeds and fully flaunt their pride. I love to see up-and-coming artists fully flaunting their pride and singing everything. So she's singing 5 or 6 pieces by Franz Schubert, including Nacht und Träume, which I know. Nacht und Nacht. No, it starts out. Heiliger Nacht, beautiful piece. Anyway, then 6 songs by Grieg, Opus 48, some Ravel, some Rachmaninoff, Richard Strauss, Hugo Wolf, Joseph Marx, and she finishes up with another Hugo Wolf. So she's just showing everything that she can do with all the delightful colors of the wonderful voice which God has given her, and which I am sure she has put an enormous amount of work into being able to use as beautifully as possible. Check it out. It's free of charge. All this stuff is like, they do ask you to contribute something if you can. As do many of these things which are free of charge. They're not really free. Somebody's paying for it. And if you have the means, it would be nice if you do as well. Now, if you don't want to hear some very classical lieder on Friday night, you have another choice. if you wait until midnight in Europe. Friday, October 17th at 6 p.m. on the East Coast in the U.S., the Kennedy Center live streams the Carnatic violinist Apurva Krishna celebrating the Festival of Lights. That's at 6 o'clock on the East Coast, midnight here in Europe, 3 o'clock on the West Coast, 8 o'clock Saturday morning down under. It's co-sponsored by the District of Raga. And she plays... what she does is she blends Indian classical music with other global influences to create what is called a powerful and immersive experience. She's also a composer and an innovator. So the District of Raga is a group in Washington, D.C., founded about 7, 8 years ago, to promote familiarity with South Asian performing arts and culture in the area of Washington, D.C., and they sponsor lots of concerts, and they're sponsoring this one. So if you want to celebrate the Festival of Lights this weekend, the Kennedy Center makes it happen for you. Thanks, Richard Grinnell. Then we move on to Saturday when we're back to March Vivo, trying to figure out just how sad and sorrowful music can be. With this group. This is a big group. It's a big group which was created for this purpose. I could give you a bigger photo of it, of them, because there are so many of them. Saturday, October 18th, March Vivo continues its demonstration of just how sorrowful music about suffering can get, with performances of Haydn's Last Words of Christ on the Cross and Ledesma's Stabat Mater, performed by the Spanish ensemble Septime. And you see them there in that photo. This ensemble was created for the purpose of singing these pieces. So it was assembled for this purpose. It's a string quartet and the singers to go with them. That's at noon here in Europe. The March Vivo weekend concerts are always at noon. So in Europe, in Madrid, that's 6 in the morning on the East Coast, 3 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast if you stay up late Friday night. It's if you've stayed up late Friday night. It's 3 a.m. late Friday night, early Saturday morning, or 8 o'clock in the evening down under in Australia. I've already told you the pieces they're playing. That Stabat Mater was composed in 1852 by Nicolas Ledesma when he was chapel master of the Collegiate Church of Bilbao. And it's performed every Good Friday annually in the capital of Vizcaya. And it's sort of like a major piece of sacred music in the Spanish tradition. The Septime ensemble was brought together, 3 solo voices and a string quartet for these 2 pieces. It's led by Miguel Colom, who's the concert master of the Spanish National Orchestra. So these are all, we don't have the time to give you the details on all the singers. The singers are Paloma Friedhoff, soprano, Diego Blázquez, tenor, and Victor Cruz, the bass. Then there's Miguel Colom, the director, on the violin, and Matt Kzane on the violin, Olga Gonzalez Cardaba on the viola, and Joseph Trescoli on the cello. These are all top people because I don't think Miguel Colom, the concert master of the Spanish National Orchestra, would take anybody else. If you want to explore the limits of Christian sorrow with Stabat Mater and the how can I laugh about it? I don't know, but and the Last Words of Christ, well, this is your opportunity to do so. Could be a very spiritual experience, or just a sacred music experience if that's what interests you. Now, there's another concert that I want to tell you about that's on Saturday. And I just found out about it at the last minute. So I'm going to have to be somewhat brief in telling you about it. And I don't have a photograph to go with it at this point. We just have to go without photograph. Just me, folks, and the candles and the globe behind me and the boat up there to show I'm a traveling guy, okay? But this is an interesting live stream that I want you to know about, and it's new music, actually. I'll just tell you about it very briefly because I think that's where I'm going to handle it. We'll do a separate live stream tomorrow for new music, but Saturday, October 18th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Cascadia Composers, which is a very interesting group of composers in the Pacific Northwest, will be live streaming the Metolius Trio playing new compositions for the piano trio by members of the Cascadia Composers. But I will tell you more about that, folks, when I do a new music live stream on Wednesday. So now we can get back to March Vivo on Sunday. Where we have yet another concert from March Vivo, which is about sadness. But it's a very fun duo that's doing something about the sadness. Sunday, October 19th, March Vivo live streams the Anton and Métis piano duo as part of its Young Performers series. And they'll be playing music by Claude Debussy, by Fernando Ramacha, and by Igor Stravinsky. That'll be at noon European time. We're told that this is music about the backdrop of death, the symbolic backdrop of death. So more sorrow and sadness. And this is Métis Léon is the woman, and Anton Dolgov is the man. The piece by Claude Debussy they're doing is En Noir et Blanc, in black and white, for two pianos. Then they do El Día y la Muerte para dos pianos, the day and death, by Fernando Ramacha for two pianos. Again, both of these are, well, he's a little later. He's 20th century. Debussy was late 19th, early 20th century. And then they'll do Igor Stravinsky's Le Sacre du Printemps, the Rite of Spring, in a transcription for four hands piano. So they'll both be on the same piano. And that has a long list of different parts that I could read to you. Métis Léon and Anton Dolgov have met almost 15 years ago in Madrid. I have another photo of them, which I'd like to show you because they do seem awfully close. Sometimes with these pairs, you wonder, well, is this, are they a pair? Are they a couple in life? And when I see a photo like that, it suggests to me that they are. but I'm not certain. I just mentioned it to you so that you full disclosure about what we're telling you about. And then they trained in the art of the piano duo with various other piano duos, the Valle duo, the Moreno-Gistain duo, the Silver-Garburg piano duo, and they became a thing. And they've done more than 100 concerts since then in every place from the Palau de la Catalan music to the Krakow Philharmonic to the Lima Philharmonic, the Musique Veran in Graz, or the Harbin Grand Theater in China. I mean, they've been all over the place. They've won more than 10 international awards. So, and they have 3 albums out on IBS Classical and Nexus Grand Piano labels, and more than 80,000 followers online where they talk about the art of the piano duo. And they both teach at the Forum Musicae School in Madrid. So this is a piano duo, which is really, really, really a piano duo, well-practiced, well-known, well-traveled, and they have a very thoughtful selection of pieces to play for you. So check it out too. Free of charge. March Vivo. And now we come to what I think is the last of this week's live streams that I want to tell you about. And this is a very interesting one. I'll explain to you why in a minute. By the way, while all this is going on, all week long, the third stage of the Chopin International Piano Competition is going on, and every day we are posting for you a print notice which tells you who are the people who are playing. They're down to 20 contestants from the original 80. The first week there were 80, the second week there were 40, now they're down to 20. So there are 7 or 8 playing each day this week to get through the 20. But I don't talk about this here because there's just no time. Sunday, October 19th, it's the music of Monteclair, Handel, Vivaldi, Corelli, and Costello, played and sung by early music specialist, the Sebastians, and soprano Lucy Fitzgibbon, which are live streamed by the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society. That's Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, noon on the West Coast, 9 o'clock in the evening in Europe. It would cost you $30 per person to attend in person. They're doing Monteclair's La Morte di Lucrezia, the death of Lucrezia, Handel's Armida Abbandonato, and then selection of sonatas. Costello's Sonata Nona, Corelli's Trio Sonata in D major, Laguerre's Sonata No. 1 for violin and continuo, Handel's Trio Sonata in A major, and Vivaldi's Sonata Opus 1 No. 12, La Folia. This group, the Sebastians, is led by Jeffrey Grossman, who's currently on the faculty at Yale University. They played at a Midtown concert back in April. Caroline Nicolas and Jeffrey Grossman were playing gamba, viola da gamba, and harpsichord. They have done all kinds of, they conceived their own original programs. They work with poets, choreographers, dancers, actors. They're currently in residence at the Yale Collection of Musical Instruments. As for Lucy Fitzgibbon, she's a Philadelphia Chamber Music Society favorite. The Boston Globe speaks of her, quote, dazzling virtuoso singing, unquote. Her repertoire spans the Renaissance to the present. She has premiered rediscovered works by Baroque composers like Francesco Sacrati, Barbara Strozzi, Agostino Agazzari, but also 20th century composers, Tadeusz Kasern, Moses Milner, and Florence Price, proving once again what I keep saying. There are people who are interested in early music and in contemporary music. They're bookending, they're working around the center of the traditional classical cursus. And finding inspiration at the two ends going together. By the way, she teaches at Bard College Conservatory. Now, I do want to mention something else that's interesting about this. The same concert, the Sebastians are live streaming it on their own, through their own website for $20 a person to enjoy it, whereas you can get it for free from the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society. I hope this does not annoy the Sebastians by telling you that, but those two live streams, I'll give you the time. Hey, you Sebastians, I'm helping you out. Saturday, October 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. These are two other chances on Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time and 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time to hear the same concert. Or you can hear it on Sunday, as I said, with the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society at, let me find the time again in my notes. I don't memorize all this stuff. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time. Folks, that's what we have for you this week. In terms of, there's several early music concerts. There's sophisticated traditional chamber music concerts. There's the Carnatic Indian violin music. There's everything this week. And almost all of it is free of charge. Although many of them do ask you, hey, if you can afford it, it would help if you, because somebody is always paying for these things. Just a question of whom, because it costs something, and the artists need, the artists need to eat. Before I go, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you watch us on any other of our platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And we will continue to make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in this year. And nobody else online can make that same claim. All the other content creators and or channels are busy promoting their own thing. The only outlet online which gives you everything from wherever we can find it is Access Arts Live. So I hope you appreciate it and tell your friends about it. If you're already a follower, please repost these things so other people can find out about it and encourage them to sign in on long. It doesn't cost anything to follow or subscribe to us, and it gives you the benefit of all this information about all these great live streams. So that's it for this week. I'll be back on Friday with weekend highlights, because there are always additional live streams that we find out about in the course of the week because they just haven't been posted beforehand. We want to make sure you know about everything that's going on when we get to the weekend. So ciao for now. If you're following that Chopin International Piano competition, you can just keep watching Access Arts Live to find out who's playing what, when. Bye.